Hi everyone. Welcome to Libre Computers, where learning is fun. This tutorial is based on the previous sessions of basic shape tools, that is part 1 and part 2. Now that we've gotten the basics of perfect shapes and their functions, let's go over a common use of the tools, that is infographics. The pre-made shape tools are perfect for creating various infographics and other designs in CorelDRAW. Additionally, I'll introduce you to the drop shadow tool, and also go through some fill tools. While complex infographics can easily be created within the program, to keep this brief, let's create a simple design now. Go to Common Shape Tool category in the toolbox. Select Perfect Shapes in the property bar. From the list of perfect shapes, choose the first design under Callout Shapes. Click and drag with the mouse button to create a callout shape of the size you want, on the document window. Grab the red node and pull it down beneath the rectangle of the perfect shape. Be careful to make sure the node is in the center of the callout shape's tail. Select the callout, and left-click on the color swatch from the color palette to add color. Remove the outline color of the callout, by right-clicking on the swatch which has diagonal line. The fill we used in this callout makes the object look flat and not eye-appealing. So let's use fountain fill. A fountain fill is a smooth progression of two or more colors that adds depth to an object. Fountain fills are also known as gradient fills. To apply a fountain fill, select the callout. Click the Interactive Fill tool in the toolbox. Click the Fountain Fill button on the property bar. There are 4 types of fountain fills: rectangular fountain fill, conical fountain fill, elliptical fountain fill, and linear fountain fill. In this case I am using linear fountain fill. These 2 boxes are called interactive vector handles. To change the color of the fountain fill, select the interactive vector handle, open the color picker, and choose a color. You can add a color to a fountain fill, by dragging a color, from the color palette to an object's interactive vector handle. Or, you can even mix colors in a 2-color fountain fill, by selecting one of the interactive vector handles, pressing Ctrl, and clicking a color on the color palette. Move the fill midpoint slider to adjust the color progression between the start and end fill colors. You can change the transparency of a color by selecting the corresponding node, and typing a value in the node transparency box, or by moving the transparency slider like this. Copy and paste 3 instances of the callout shape. As we did before, change the fountain fill color of the duplicated callouts. Place each copied object behind the last. Move each down so they peek out from under the last one slightly. Select the center shape and hit mirror horizontally in the property bar, so the tails of the shape are staggered. From the Basic Shapes options, select 3 different shapes, for the bottom right corner of each callout shape drawn previously. Use the Shape tool and click on the red node to alter the shapes if needed. A 3D object brings more realistic depth and perspective to an image. There are a number of ways to achieve the 3D look in CorelDRAW, but today we will learn how to create this effect through drop shadow. The drop shadow effect can be made by making an offset shadow behind an object, to show that it is floating above the background. To add a drop shadow, in the toolbox, click the Drop Shadow tool. Select the object. Drag out a drop shadow from the blue shape, that aligns with the shape itself, but is placed slightly below. Hold down Ctrl, to keep the drop shadow on a straight line, while pulling it out from the shape. In the property bar, set shadow feathering to a value of 4 to 7. Repeat this on the other two shapes. You can also change the values of these following attributes of drop shadow on the property bar as per your requirements. Drop shadow offset. This sets the distance between the drop shadow and the object. Drop shadow angle sets the direction of the drop shadow. Drop shadow opacity. This adjusts the transparency of the drop shadow. Shadow feathering allows you to sharpen or soften the edges of the drop shadow. Feathering direction. This option softens the shadow's edges toward the inside of the shadow, toward the outside of the shadow, or both of the direction. Feather edge allows you to choose the feathering type. Shadow fade. This adjusts the amount of fading at the edges of the drop shadow. Shadow stretch adjusts the length of the drop shadow. Transparency operation. This option allows you to choose how the color of the drop shadow blends with the color of the underlying object. Shadow color. It helps to choose the color of the drop shadow. Resize the icons with Pick tool, and place each of them on the bottom right of each callout. Put white fill, and remove the outline of the icons. Let's do a quick review of this session. In this session we learned how to create a modern infographic in quick and easy way, using perfect shapes. Additionally, I also introduced two new tools, that is Fountain Fill and Drop Shadow. A fountain fill is a smooth progression of two or more colors, that adds depth to an object. Fountain fills are also known as gradient fills. There are 4 types of fountain fills: linear, radial, conical, and square. Any fountain fill can be modified to suit your needs, and you can create your own fills. You can specify fill attributes such as the direction of a fill's color blend, the fill's angle, center point, and midpoint. Drop shadow applies shadow behind or below objects. A drop shadow can create great depth, and dramatically change the appearance of an object when used correctly. For best results, use a drop shadow on a white or light colored background. Thanks for watching our video. Like, share, and subscribe our channel.